Alright, what do you like to listen to when you're in the car? For some of us it's music, for others it's a podcast, or maybe nothing. Today I'm going to talk about the original podcast, which is talk radio. I will take you through the first popular talk radio shows, listener participation format, and a major breakthrough. And I actually have a schedule here of one of the talk radio shows, like what they would talk about and stuff. So one of the very first popular talk radio shows was Amy Semple McPherson. That's her, and that's her radio that she would use. And that was actually the very first talk radio show. It was in the 1920s, so that was pretty early in radio in general. And she actually purchased her own station, KFSG, in 1924. Another popular talk radio show was Father Charles Coughlin, and he actually reached millions of people, and this was in the mid-1930s. The listener participation format started in the 1930s. It was started by John J. Anthony of New York's WMRJ. It started because he had problems in his marriage and he was seeking help, and he used that as motivation to create a show where listeners would call in with their problems and they would talk through it over the radio, basically. And then in 1948, Alan Courtney started a call-in program in Miami called WCBS, and then he went on to create WQAM, WINZ, and WCKR. And then he actually created his own thing called the Alan Courtney Open Phone Forum, which flourished. It had coverage in the Southeast US and in Cuba. So the major breakthrough I mentioned earlier was in 1960 at KLAC in Los Angeles. The executive there, John Kluge, hired Alan Henry, who was a popular radio broadcaster, and sent him up to New York to make KLAC a success. The show was actually an immediate success, like an overnight kind of thing. And it actually led to a television show, and it was suggested to be put on a brand new TV station in LA called KTTV TV. And then that actually led to two radio stations in St. Louis becoming completely talk radio format. That happened in 1960, and it was KMOX and KABC, and they both claim to be the first radio station that was all talk radio format, so it's not really sure which one is the first. In conclusion, talk radio was a major part of history, and it influenced the things we listen to today. It started with the first popular talk radio shows, Amy Semple McPherson, listener participation format where the listeners would usually call in with their problems and they would talk through it, and the major breakthrough that changed history. This is important because it laid the foundation for all entertainment we enjoy today. Thank you.